Hello everybody, Raam Anand here again. I was wondering what kind of topic I will do for this blog post today, and I was thinking, like, I was going back and forth, digressing, and when I was starting to realize, I started interviewing people and started understanding how they build their business. One particular word kept coming back again and again and again. Even the most successful people were talking about this one word, and people who are speaking on stages were talking about this one word, and so many books also talked about this same word, and the word was innovate or innovation. So I set out on a journey to learn exactly what is innovation and how can one accomplish it, and whether I did innovate in my business and to what extent. So are there any step-by-step instructions on how to innovate? Because I am a frameworks person. I always build frameworks for everything that I do. If it has to be, if I have to use innovation in my business, I want a step-by-step. I'm no genius. Like I want everything in a step-by-step manner. So that's what I always want to do and accomplish. So I set out whether it's a framework, like the framework that I teach in my seminars and my students, on how to, if there is a framework, what exactly is it, or do I need to develop a framework on how to innovate? The word innovation itself has become like a buzzword or a keyword. You keep hearing this word, like you innovate or die, keep innovating, and one of the most commonly used examples to innovation is almost always goes without saying that it's Apple or Steve Jobs, who is known for innovating stuff. So how did actually Steve Jobs, or any other business for that matter, innovate? Was there any specific step-by-step framework? So I set out to learn. I spent many hours of research, and both inward and outward. I did my own inward research to figure out, is there something that I can remotely relate to innovation in my business. I've been into digital marketing, I've been into seminars, I've been into publishing business and industry. Did I do any innovation? And if at all I did do some innovation, how do I teach to other people? Because I love teaching other people. If I have to teach someone how to innovate, how would I go about it? So I set out on a journey to learn all about innovation and how to apply innovation in our day-to-day activities, in our day-to-day business, and this is how this is what I figured out. One of the most common or most familiar kind of a shape in the business world, I figured, is this, which is called as the bell curve, for that matter. So this is, most people are familiar, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you are familiar with the bell curve, where you start with your project, you grow, and then these are the early adapters. This is the chasm that we have to cross in order for your product or service to gain that momentum, and here you go, and these are the late adopters, and as such. So this was something very similar, and my understanding of innovation also brought me to something similar like this. And it was like I did my own research in my own business, and then compared my results with other people who I saw through my journey, who did innovate, who attributed innovation to their success, and this was what I got. Very classic example of an S curve, most familiar, most famous. So if I had to plot innovation against time, let's say this is time, and let's say this is innovation. If you can see this, I don't know, innovation. So this is on this axis you plot innovation, and this axis, on the x-axis, you plot time. What is the time it needs to innovate? This was the model that I came about, and this is where it all starts. This is the start where you actually start your project, your program, your business, your startup, for that matter. This is where you start, and here's first few units of time. It could be days, weeks, months, years, depending on the kind and scale of the business that you're in. This is the struggle phase. This is where most people struggle. And then starts the growth phase. The growth phase where your business starts growing. And this involves even more challenges, tweaking, training, getting funding, for example. That's where you start getting funding. And then you reach a phase here which is called the mature. The business matures, everything seems settled, you're going in a smooth direction, no more struggles here, sales are coming in, things are going smoothly, and before you even realize, this is the fate of most businesses actually. It's a statistic that says 95% or 97% of the businesses don't survive beyond 5 or 6 years in operation. That's because once they hit the maturity of that business, then this is the journey that follows. Here comes the decline. The business or the ideology or the philosophy or the market starts to decline, leading to the unfortunate death of the business. So this is what happens if you do not innovate. So where does innovation come? Innovation comes right here. Like before this happens, you arrest that decline and you start another S curve. And this is exactly what I did in my business. I jumped from being a white label service provider for other marketing companies from a digital marketing agency to doing our own marketing, and then jumping from that to creating more innovation and seeing how I can serve other people in a different way. I started my seminar business, and similarly I also started my publishing business, which both are thriving, by the way. If at all I had stayed in the same path, of course I started well, did well with my business, took it to America, North America, and other parts of the world like Australia and the UK, and I did well, did grow, and did mature with my business. And if I had not taken this second leap, and this is where you need to dream or reimagine, as Steve Jobs always said. Any new product from Apple, they use this tagline called reimagined. So how do you reimagine? How do you do that in your business? And this is where it needs you to dream and take a leap of faith. This is where you need faith. This is where you need to innovate. This is where the innovation part actually comes in. So this was my understanding of how I innovated in my business and took it to multiple millions of dollars across the world. And I'm so glad that I'm also coming back to India with my programs, launching my businesses in India, or perhaps by the time you're watching this video, it's already launched, who knows. This is exactly what I wanted to do. So when I started and grew my business, and when it was at the state of maturity in the US, in other parts of the world, I wanted to start. I jumped and reimagined and redreamed of my business going off in a positive way in India. This is my definition of innovation, and I hope this serves you well as well, because if you need to innovate, if you don't innovate, the business goes down. But if you do innovate, this is how we actually do. I was so thrilled and awe-inspired by people saying, even the best people, the most successful entrepreneurs always said, innovate or die. Go do innovation, like find out whether you can innovate. But I was wondering, how exactly do I innovate? What are the step-by-step plans? Is there a step A, step B, step C to innovate? Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you think about innovation. And I'm so glad and honored and blessed to be here sharing these ideas with you guys here, because I went from nothing. If you know my story, I went from nothing, built my business. I was and still is a very ordinary person, so to say. And I went and built my business, and I learned everything in the school of hard knocks. In the school of hard knocks, where you learn everything by experience. I did not have mentors very early in my career, though I chose a lot of mentors to work with later on in my business career. But earlier I did not have mentors, which was a big mistake, by the way. So I went and did my business, and my innovations went this way, and I thought this would be useful for you as well in your business to apply and innovate in your business and succeed beyond your wildest dreams, because it is so possible for you. Today you have the technology, you have the know-how, you have the knowledge, you have access to information and tools and resources, and really you don't have any excuse to give for not succeeding. And I hope and sincerely wish that this innovation model will work to your favor and help you innovate yourself, reimagine your products and services, and reach out to all the different people in this world beyond your wildest dreams. And that's my wish for you in this video. Go ahead, innovate, and until then, I hope to see you in another video or a live event or a seminar. And until then, keep innovating, keep smiling, believe in yourself, and get all the best things in life.